The child of the fallen giants. Long ago, in the vast and mist-covered realm of Gorith, the land of giants, there ruled a mighty king named King Drogmer the Colossus. His kingdom stretched across the mountains and valleys, his people towering like trees, their footsteps shaking the very earth. No other race dared to challenge them, for the giants were known as the mightiest of all beings, their strength, their pride, and their rule unmatched. But destiny, as it often does, had plans that even kings could not command. One fateful night, beneath a blood-red moon, Queen Alara gave birth to the king's first son, the heir to the throne of giants. The entire kingdom gathered to witness the child who would someday lead them. Yet, when the babe was lifted from his mother's arms, the hall fell silent. He was small, fragile, human-sized. The king's face hardened, his pride shattered. "This," he thundered, "is no son of a giant. This is a curse, a weakness sent by the heavens to mock me." The queen wept, pleading for mercy, but King Drogmer was unshaken. "No creature this small can rule the giants. Let him be cast into the wild, and let the beast decide his fate." And so, under the cold gaze of the moon, the tiny child was wrapped in golden cloth and abandoned in the dark wilderness beyond the kingdom's gates. Days later, far from the lands of the giants, the baby was found by a group of travelers from Ethereum, a small but noble human kingdom known for its wisdom and magic. The travelers brought the child before their ruler, King Aldrich, who saw the strange golden birthmark glowing on the baby's chest, the mark of the giants. "This child is not ordinary," Aldrich said softly. "Raise him as one of our own, for destiny follows him like a shadow." The boy was named Kael. As he grew, strange things began to happen. By the time he was 10, Kael could lift stones heavier than 5 men could carry. His eyes burned with a fierce light, and his voice carried the weight of command. He learned magic from the kingdom's sages and battle from its knights. Though he was smaller than the giants who cast him out, Kael's heart and power grew larger than any of them could imagine. By the time he reached manhood, Kael had become a legend in Ethereum, the warrior who could break steel with his bare hands and summon storms with a whisper. Yet deep inside, he often dreamt of mountains and voices echoing through the clouds, the land of giants calling to him. One night, King Aldrich gathered his council. "Word reaches us that the giants prepare for war," he said. "They seek to crush every human kingdom beneath their feet." Kael stood, his eyes burning with purpose. "Then it is time I return to where I came from," he said quietly. "Time the giants remember the child they threw away." And so, leading an army of men, Kael marched toward Gorith. The battle that followed was one of legend. Thunder met fire, and steel clashed against stone. The giants laughed at the sight of humans daring to challenge them, until Kael stepped forth. He raised his sword high, and the mark of the giants on his chest flared like the sun. Power surged through him, strength greater than the strongest giant, speed faster than the lightning above. The very earth trembled as he struck down the giant king's warriors one by one. When he finally faced King Drogmer, the old giant sneered. "So the weakling returns." Kael's voice echoed across the valley. "I was never weak. You were simply blind." The battle between father and son shook the heavens. Drogmer's club shattered mountains, but Kael's blade cut through pride itself. With one final strike, the giant king fell, his crown tumbling from his head and rolling to Kael's feet. When the dust settled, the giants knelt before Kael. He stood upon the ruins of his father's throne, not as a giant of flesh, but of spirit. "I will not rule by fear," Kael declared, "but by unity. The time of hatred between men and giants ends today." And thus began a new age, one where humans and giants lived under one banner, ruled by the child once cast aside. In the songs of both kingdoms, they spoke of him not as Kael the Small, but as Kael the Great, the giant king who proved that greatness is not measured by size, but by the strength of one's heart. Would you like me to continue this story into part 2, The Age of Unity and Betrayal, where Kael's rule faces new threats from within his own united kingdom?